Deion Sanders, a polarizing multi-sport star who reached incredible heights in football yet faced scorn in baseball for disrespecting the purity of the game.
Deion Sanders, cornerback, Florida State.
Prime time's coming to Atlanta, huh?
I want everybody at the airport. I want everybody in Atlanta there.
Prime time. Prime time. Deion, the greatest player ever played football. Prime time.
Deion Sanders blazing around second. Tapper goes over to get the ball. The throw to the plate gets on by. Sanders flies over, and now he is safe at home.
Though excelling as an electric outfielder, his controversial MLB run was filled with feuds and resentment about his focus on football over baseball. Let's explore why Sanders stirred up animosity from the old-school baseball establishment despite his transcendent skills, as they perceived his flash and priorities as an affront to the traditions of the diamond. Sanders possessed rare athletic gifts that allowed him to play two pro sports at an elite level. He had a celebrity persona that brought extraordinary flair and ego to his sports persona. While these traits made him an NFL icon, they clashed with MLB's traditional culture. Deion's flashy style, multi-sport focus, and unapologetic attitude rubbed baseball purists the wrong way. He was an affront to their view of professionalism and fanned the flames of a growing civil war between old-school and contemporary superstar ideologies. So while Deion Sanders accomplished unprecedented success as a two-sport phenom, he also endured scorn and criticism through much of his tumultuous journey across the MLB landscape. Sanders' flashy style clashed with baseball culture. Deion Sanders' flashy persona and stylistic flair contradicted the humble, quiet culture of old-school Major League Baseball from the moment he first stepped onto the diamond. In an era marked by tradition, Sanders entered as a loud lightning bolt of jewelry, jerry curls, and showmanship that demonstrated little regard for the sport's customs. MLB veterans were outright offended at Deion's brash approach that courageously went against the status quo they had spent decades sustaining. When the Yankees provided Sanders an esteemed single-digit uniform number typically reserved for legends, it was a slap in the face to those who bled for the pinstripes for years. This came to an ugly head in a confrontation with Boston Red Sox legend Carlton Fisk, a former all-star representative of old-school ideals. Reports indicate Sanders drew a dollar sign in the dirt before an at-bat against Fisk's Red Sox, demonstrating audacious priority of money over respect. And when Sanders failed to run out a routine pop-up, defying competitive spirit, it drove 42-year-old Fisk into a tirade at the young star's disgusting disloyalty to the game. Deion Sanders' flashy prima donna persona was a defiant disrespect of institutional tradition. His fireworks drowned out the humility baseball was built on, and he would never be welcomed into the sacred inner circle. Playing both sports and football first, while Deion Sanders possessed superhuman athletic ability that enabled success in both MLB and NFL stardom, he was despised by the baseball orthodoxy for clearly prioritizing football over his baseball career. Rather than dedicate himself to the grueling daily rigors as a full-time MLB player, Sanders routinely held out from NFL training camps while using potential baseball opportunities as leverage in maximizing his lucrative football contracts. Not only did Sanders miss critical MLB training, he proudly flaunted football as his wife and baseball as his side chick. When the Braves were embarking on a historic playoff run that required all hands-on-deck commitment, Sanders left his teammates behind to play for the NFL's Atlanta Falcons instead, the ultimate betrayal in the eyes of baseball purists. Iron Man Cal Ripken Jr. embodied the baseball ideal. Ripken literally never missed an inning throughout generations of stars that came and went around his Orioles. While legends like Sandy Koufax poured their heart and dedication fully into the game, the two-sport Sanders was a wandering nomad jumping sporadically between diamonds and end zones as it suited him.
Deion sends it to right. That's gonna be gone. Welcome back, Deion Sanders. Yes, sir.
Most appallingly, pundits applauded Sanders' flaky float between sports as some genius pioneering achievement. In reality, Sanders' outrageous antics were debasing the individual sport legacies that countless shoulders of giants built over decades. The Tim McCarver, NLCS debacle. The conclusion of Sanders' two-sport tightrope walk came crashing down into a searing scandal during the 1991 National League Championship Series that created his most venomous vitriol yet from the baseball community. Committed to play for the Atlanta Falcons on a Sunday NFL game, Sanders doubled down by appearing in the NLCS later that same night for his Atlanta Braves in a defiant display of dual athletic brilliance. Respected broadcaster Tim McCarver understandably criticized Sanders on air for the decision that seemingly flaunted vanity ahead of full duty to either franchise investing in his services. What ensued was perhaps Sanders' ultimate middle finger to old-school baseball values. In the post-game victory locker room celebration, a giddy Sanders went rogue by collecting not just one, but numerous Gatorade buckets that he proceeded to soak a dripping, astonished McCarver with on live television. The baseball world was stunned at what they perceived as an arrogant, classless assault on McCarver, a multi-generational icon worthy of reverence. Was this Sanders' symbolic endgame purpose all along? And it personified Sanders' perceived pleasure in besmirching baseball elitism. Sanders' defiant stroll into the Atlanta night shadows left behind a flaming crater where purity once stood tall, guiding generations of baseball men before him. Baseball traditionalists could finally officially wave bye-bye to the soul of their game. The extraordinary two-sport career of Deion Sanders left a complicated, contradictory legacy in its wake. His transcendent ability to compete among football and baseball elites simultaneously established unlimited possibilities of the superstar athlete ceiling. Baseball traditionalists never welcomed him into the inner sanctum he seemingly could have completely conquered with maturity, humility, and full devotion to greatness between foul lines instead of flashing behind dancing end zones. But Sanders chose chaos over conformity to any single universe. His self-fulfilling prophecy as a wandering outsider made him an iconoclast of individuality, scorned through fable as sport's most defiant black sheep. Yet the very shortcomings cursing his floppy legacy fueled its shine among a younger generation. Deion Sanders represented infinite potential ahead for mold-breaking superstars callously crafting their own journeys beyond the boundaries their predecessors were confined to. He never won a World Series or claimed a holy grail, falling tragically short of the sacred aura orbiting transcendent alphanumeric icons like Mays, Mantle, and Aaron. But Deion Sanders became an original athletic prophet, glimpsing the horizon of what sport could one day evolve into. And if he could never earn baseball's love despite such valiant battling against his establishment, Deion Sanders at least deserves respect for refusing to dim the primetime limelight that guided advancement for those who would grow up following his footsteps. While Deion Sanders reached the mountaintop of football achievement, he created controversy and animosity during his tumultuous MLB career. Love him or hate him, his brazen challenge of baseball's cultural norms made him one of the most provocative athletes of all time. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more iconic sports stories and analysis.